The architects and the ones maintaining control over this realm through mind control have a plan for every single template of individuals. They usually use our emotions and the programming that is already installed in order to get in and bypass all critical thinking. Alters and subpersonalities have a limited view of any given situation. For example, the system of beliefs linked to external authority programming is very strong. Cognitive dissonance is about mind programming being heavily active while the person is not able to break through. Different types of information are therefore colliding with each other. The journey of breaking from spells and mind control is very personal. Mind control contains a lot of darkness because it is in the way between the individual and a higher spirit. Each year we see the deployment of multi-layered, sophisticated fear programs which are affecting our mental and physical health. We then tend to forget about self-care practices because we are running the program that there is not enough time. We accept to renounce to a comfort that is needed in order to regenerate and heal. Many public figures are handling other public figures. Handlers often do enable other handlers. Handling is making sure we think we are getting something out of it, but we really don't. It just rather is mainly about encouraging self-containment. What is happening to us is often the result of clever engineering with the handling of public figures, in addition to the sub-handling of our entourage or the consequences linked to handlers we have since revoked. Masonic assets are there to generate debate and to trigger and to harvest strong emotions. Some are on the martyrdom side, calling for our endless compassion or inner justice warrior. This is something that is associated to alters still not integrated within us. When we connect to a psychic or healer who is choosing to experiment a lot with the darker spectrum, they may be accessing our signature or they may be reprogramming us. Darkness is a frequency more than it is tangible, usually. We still are very suggestible to layers of reprogramming, and we have to minimize the exposure to programs meant to target us because it does trigger the expression of subpersonalities who are then taking charge partially to make decisions and to dialogue with others around us. Subpersonalities are influencing us, so we keep on distracting ourselves. All of us are still under mind control to a certain extent in our lives. It is hard to access what we are really involved in and how we are being taken advantage of, despite the gigantic path that we have already walked. There are always more layers of inner programming to wake up from. We also don't want to become a fortress and retrieve too much. The balance is hard to find. When we are in delusion, we don't have to face the cold, sharp truth. We might feel blissed out and feel like much is going well. This is usually a distraction from doing the real work. Most of mind control assets have no idea. They are used by dark factions, and we all are, to a certain extent, in charge of keeping the others contained because of our own programming and wounding. The benefit of the doubt can lead to complication, but reading too much into patterns can prevent the good to enter. Everyone has signs of mind control on their accounts or websites, so how do we know for sure? It's often hard for us to connect to content of a higher truth because we have been so programmed to deceitful frequencies and we are encouraged to stay connected to them. This content is perpetuating mind control and seeding our consciousness with more entanglement. There is a great deal of suffering that comes from being controlled, handled, used, and ambushed in these layers of programming. One has to know their inner main setup. When we have an history of trauma, we often find ourselves ambushed by our own difficulty to be assertive and to stand our ground. We know when something is off, yet it might take a bit of time before we are able to put words on what is happening. It is through furthering our understanding of mind control that we can make sense of it all. Creator does respect our unconscious and subconscious choices, even if it breaks his heart to witness our unconsciously chosen suffering. If we are choosing self-destruction, he is respecting our choice, in the hope someday we will become able to understand and to see through. Something that helps me is invoking the Holy Spirit. Something like, please show me where I do resist and show me what I need to see to extract this programming layer after layer. Help me and hold me in this process as I'm breaking free from this programming today.